நாயகன் வேதிய நாயகன் மாதின் நாயகன் மாதவ நாயகன் ஆதி நாயகன் ஆதிரை நாயகன் பூத நாயகன் புண்ணியமூர்த்தியே பூத நாயகன் புண்ணியமூர்த்தியே நன்மை பெருகருள் நெறியே வந்தடைந்து நல்லூரின் மண்ணு திருத்தொண்டனார் வணங்கி மகிழ்ந்தழும் பொழுதில் உன்னுடைய நினைப்பதனை முடிக்கின்றோம் என்றவர்தம் சென்னிமிசை பாதமலர் சூட்டினான் சிவபெருமான்.
Respected guests, it is a great privilege to introduce Satguru Bodhinatha Veylanswami, who is the Guru Mahasannidhanam of Kwai Adinam, USA, a 382-acre traditional South Indian monastery dedicated to Saiva Siddhantam, with temples dedicated to Lord Nadaraja in the Kadabal temple and a Swayambhu Spatika Lingam for the Iraivan temple. A hand-carved all-granite temple is nearing completion. Satguru Bodhinatha Veylanswami has been the Adinam's head since the founder Satguru Sivaya Subramanya Swami attained Mahasamadhi in 2001. He and the Kwai Adinam, who revere Yoga Swami as their guru, have been creating invaluable, high-quality resources for Saivaism for decades. They offer all their publications free to download for all who want to know more about Saivaism. Through their charitable arm, the Hindu Heritage Endowment, the Adinam provides endowments for many Saiva temples as well as orphanages and homes for the elderly. The Kwai Adinam has personally blessed the consecration of hundreds of temples across the globe and has often gifted murtis to begin temples, one of which is the Ganesha deity at the Highgate Hill Murugan temple. In 2011, he was honored by the Adi Saiva Sivacharyas of Tamil Nadu for overseeing a 3-year project that digitized over 1 million inscribed palm leaves to preserve and share with the world 10,000 deteriorating manuscripts, including Saiva Agamas and other important scriptures. Additionally, he guides the financial and administrative staff for the 4 major non-profit organizations, including the $10 million Hindu Heritage Endowment, for which he was the principal architect under Gurudeva's guidance. One of the printed objectives of the Kwai Adinam is to protect, preserve and promote Saivite Hindu religion as embodied in the Tamil culture, traditions and scriptures of South India and Sri Lanka. They go on to say that they are unequivocally orientated to serve those of Tamil descent, especially those from Sri Lanka. Satguru and his sannyasi monks have dedicated their lives to preserving the Saivite religion for the next generation by providing Saiva teachings in English and making them readily available for free on the internet. They live their lives practicing Saivaism to the fullest extent, with a monastic and disciplined life that echoes the spirituality and the beauty of the natural world of Khoi that exemplifies, as well as dedicating their lives to the promotion of Saivaism through digital and social media, which enables them to reach millions of Hindus throughout the world. Thank you.
Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Paravavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vinvishavahai, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Vanakkam. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Am I loud enough? Very good. In being invited to this conference, I was told the official topic is Kanda Puranam, and I don't know much about Kanda Puranam. So I decided to present the teachings on Lord Murugan that I'm familiar with, that are in our writings and are in the material that we've researched over the years. So that's the closest I could come to that topic. But I think you'll enjoy it, and it's particularly, I hope, useful in explaining Lord Murugan to Hindu youth and children. It's more for youth and children than for adults. Oh, it's entitled The Nature and Worship of Lord Murugan. And a recording of this presentation can be viewed on YouTube. You can just search for the title, The Nature and Worship of Lord Murugan. In other words, it's a video. You can watch it as a video on YouTube. It's already been recorded and posted there. And for those, usually the younger people who know what a bit.ly is, you can go straight to it with the bit.ly Lord-Murugan. That's a shortcut for finding something at bit.ly. And as I mentioned, this presentation is based on my Guru Sivaya Subramanya Swami's writings about Lord Murugan, plus my own research as well as my experiences in participating in Murugan pujas and festivals for almost 50 years. So that's next slide is Nallur Kandaswamy Temple. So the first time I went to the annual festival at Nallur Kandaswamy Temple was 1972. Long time ago, right? 1972. So that's almost 50 years. Almost 50 years we've been worshipping Lord Murugan in traditional temples. So earlier this year, I wrote a presentation to be done in Mauritius on the occasion of Thaipusam. And the audience at that talk, they were all Hindu, but they weren't Tamil, so a lot of them weren't familiar with who Lord Murugan was. And so, again, this presentation is particularly useful to any Hindus who don't know much about Lord Murugan. So there's Nallur Kandaswamy, where I visited August 1972 for the first time. Last time was March, 2 months ago. We were there as well. Lord Murugan is referred to by many different names. Some of the most frequently used are Kartikeya, Kumara, Skanda, Shanmuganatha Arumugam Palini Subramanya. Though some Hindus consider him to be the Supreme Being, which is the viewpoint of the denomination called Kaumaram, most consider him to be part of Saivism. In Saivism, he is the younger son of Lord Shiva, born of Shiva's divine mind. The older son, of course, is Lord Ganesha. Murugan's Vahana, vehicle is a peacock, Mayil, and he carries a spear called a veil, which represents the power to overcome darkness and ignorance. According to symbolism. Though recognized across the subcontinent, Murugan is a particular favorite among the Tamil people, and his history in Tamil literature dates back to the Sangam period. In fact, he is considered to be a Tamil Kadavul, Lord of Tamil, and is said to have taught the Tamil language to sage Agastya. In addition to Sangam literature, several tales of Murugan may also be found in various Puranas. He has two consorts, Devayanai and Vali. Devayanai is the daughter of Indra, and Vali is the adopted daughter of a hunter, chieftain. Some temples have all three in a one sanctum, which is named Vali, Devayanai Sameta Subramanya. Hinduism is not the only religion in which Lord Murugan is found. As would seem quite natural, he is also found in the Buddhist religion. This is a Japanese image of the sixth-faced deity, which has the familiar peacock, but distinctive Japanese facial features. As would be expected, Lord Murugan's brother, Lord Ganesha, also made the journey to Japan, where he is known as Kangitan. In Shingon Buddhism, Murugan is called Skanda, Idatan, and Kumaratan. In Mahayana Buddhism, he is called Skanda and Wei Tuo. Skanda's function is to protect the monasteries, the monks, and the religion's teachings. In Chinese temples, Skanda faces the statue of the Buddha in the main shrine. The legend of Lord Murugan's birth is intimately connected to the protection of Indra and the other devas from the clutches of the Asura Surapadma. When the devas requested Shiva to redeem them from the Asura, it is said that 6 sparks came out of the powerful third eye of Shiva, who gave the sparks to Vayu, who in turn handed them over to Agni. Then Agni left the sparks in the Ganga, which brought the sparks to the holy Saravana Poyal. The 6 sparks became 6 children and were brought up by 6 Kartikai, celestial virgins. Parvati came there and united all 6 into one with 6 faces, 12 hands, and 12 eyes in one body, called Shambhu or Arumugam. The 6 babes that were lying on the lotuses in the Saravana pond were nursed by the Devis of the constellation Kartika, also called Kartikai and known in English as the Pleiades. Hence Skanda came to be known by the name of Kartikeya, meaning child of the Pleiades. There are 3 main annual festivals to Lord Murugan: Thaipusam, Vaikasi Visakam, and Skanda Shashti. Thaipusam occurs on Pushya Nakshatra in January-February. During this festival, we fast and perform public penance called Kavadi, seeking Murugan's blessings to dispel our selfishness, pride, and vanity. The Sanskrit word for penance is prayaschitta and refers to an act of devotion, bhakti, austerity, tapas, or discipline, undertaken to soften or nullify the anticipated reaction of a past action. Penance is uncomfortable karma inflicted upon oneself. to mitigate one's karmic burden caused by wrongful action. It is consciously relieving the karmic burden of wrongful actions by undergoing physical or mental hardships and challenges. A penance offered to Lord Murugan, especially during Thaipusam, consists of carrying in procession a heavy, beautifully decorated short wooden pole surrounded by a wooden arch from which pots of milk hang, which are to be used for the abhishek. Participants' tongue and other parts of the body are often pierced with small silver spears or hooks. In some of my writings, I have cautioned carrying kavadi and other forms of penance should never be done for the purpose of impressing others. Rather, it should be done having in mind specific misdeeds you are atoning for, as well as promising Lord Murugan not to repeat them again. My Guru has this insight into the inner process of penance. Darshan coming from the great temples of our gods can change the patterns of karma dating back many past lives, clearing and clarifying conditions that were created hundreds of years ago and are but seeds now waiting to manifest in the future. Through the grace of the gods, those seeds can be removed if the manifestation in the future would not enhance the evolution of the soul. He also has this statement that relates specifically to Lord Murugan. When we perform penance and beseech His blessings, this merciful God hurls His veil into the astral plane, piercing discordant sounds, colors, and shapes, removing the mind's darkness. The second annual festival is Vaikasi Visakam, held on Lord Kartikeya's birth star, Vishaka Nakshatra in May-June. Elaborate Abhisheka is conducted in all his temples. It is a time of gift-giving to panditas and great souls, weddings, feedings for the poor, caring for trees, spiritual initiation, diksha, and conclaves of holy men. The third annual festival is Skanda Shashti, which is celebrated on the 6 days after the new moon in October-November, with festive processions and pujas invoking his protection and grace. It honors Murugan's receiving the veil. The lance of spiritual illumination, Jnana Shakti, culminates in the dramatic victory celebration of spiritual light over asuric darkness, which tells the story of the legend of Lord Murugan defeating Surapadma. The Asura Surapadma had taken the Devas captive. Lord Shiva asked Lord Murugan to destroy the Asuras and free the Devas from their cruel bondage. Lord Murugan reached Tiruchendur with his huge army and encampment. He sent his lieutenant, Veerabahu, to the Asuras as an emissary and asked Surapadma to release the Devas. Since Surapadma turned down the request, war was started. The intense battle continued for a few days. During the first 5 days of the war, the brothers of Surapadma and all the other Asuras perished. On the 6th day in the battle between Lord Murugan and Surapadma, Surapadma became a giant mango tree which threatened to smother the world. Murugan cleft this tree with his veil, and Surapadma then took shape as a peacock and a rooster, both of which charged at Murugan. However, the deity tamed both with a single loving glance. To commemorate the defeat of the Asuras, Murugan ordered that the peacock and rooster should respectively become his mount and emblem of his standard. Thus Surapadma's gift of immortality by Shiva was recognized and became in the form of 2 birds, the transformed and submissive symbols of Murugan's dominance. Special aspect of Skanda Shashti is that some Murugan Bhaktars take a fasting vow for this festival as a way to intensify their worship. Typical Vrata is to fast during the day, attend the temple festival ceremonies in the evening, and only afterwards have a meal. It is a natural time to beseech Lord Murugan to take away your pride and replace it with submission and humility, as he did for Surapadma. Some Murugan Bhaktars also observe a Vrata on the monthly 6th Tithi. Turning to another aspect of Lord Skanda, Hindu icons in our temples all have mystical symbolism. Common symbolism is to depict the god as male and the god's energy or Shakti as his spouse. God is everywhere seen as the beloved divine couple. Philosophically, however, the caution is always made that God and God's energy are one, and the metaphor of the inseparable divine couple serves only to illustrate this oneness. In the case of Lord Murugan, his consorts are Vali and Devayanai. Additionally, we have the veil as an important symbol. These three represent three distinct energies, powers or Shaktis. Vali represents Ichcha Shakti, the power of desire. Devayanai represents Kriya Shakti, the power of action. The veil represents Jnana Shakti, the power of wisdom. Important insights into the soul's maturing process can be gained by looking at the three Shaktis of Lord Skanda: the power of desire, the power of action, and the power of wisdom, which are also the three powers of the soul. We first have a desire, and when the desire becomes strong enough, we act. In young souls, the action may be ill-conceived, even against Dharma. For example, a man wants a computer, so he steals one. Money is needed, so he robs a bank. The soul is often caught up in repeating a cycle of similar experiences, moving back and forth from desire to action, until the needed lesson is learned. In the case of the adharmic action of stealing, eventually he will learn the lesson that this is not the best way to acquire possessions. This learning is the Jnana Shakti, wisdom causing his behavior to improve. This process also works for dharmic actions as well. We are helping out as a volunteer at the temple and teaching children's classes once a month. We like the feeling it gives us of helping others in a meaningful way and decide to help out every week. Participate in the meetings which plan out the classes. We are doing a selfless action, and the reaction it has on us is to feel more inner joy. Therefore, the jnana is to decide to do even more of it, and thus feel more joyful. We have again improved our behavior. We can see in both of these examples how it is that the soul undergoes experiences in the world, with desire leading to action, which eventually leads to wisdom and the improving of our behavior. This is the divine pattern through which our soul matures over many lifetimes, moving ever closer to God. Whether an action we have committed is dharmic or adharmic, the worship of Lord Skanda and the power of his veil of Jnana Shakti can help us understand the wisdom or lack of wisdom of our actions more quickly. My Guru gave this description: Murugan's dynamic power awakens spiritual cognition to propel souls onward in their evolution to Shiva's feet. Another symbolism involves Lord Murugan's Vahana, the peacock. The peacock, Mahil in Tamil, symbolizes effulgent beauty and religion in full glory. Furthermore, the peacock is able to control powerful snakes, such as the cobra, symbolizing the soulful domination of the instinctive elements, or control of the kundalini, which is yoga. This is shown in some depictions by having the peacock hold down a large snake with one talon. For those who are fortunate enough to be practicing yoga under the direction of a living guru, Lord Murugan plays a unique role, my guru explains. To attain even the permission to perform yoga, one must have the grace of Lord Ganesha and the grace of Lord Murugan. Lord Murugan is the god of the Kundalini, of the advanced yogic practices. Unfoldment all happens within the Kundalini and the chakras within our subtle bodies. Once a profound relationship is developed with Lord Murugan, then with the Guru's permission and guidance, true yoga may commence. Otherwise, no matter how long one sits in meditation, no matter how hard one tries, it is just sitting. It is just trying. There is no fire there, no Shakti, no power, no change. It is the gods who control the fire. And at this stage, help the devotee immensely, bringing him closer and closer to the supreme God, Shiva. My last topic is about the personal experience of Lord Murugan and begins with the concept of faith. Faith is central to all the world's religions. Webster's dictionary defines religious faith as unquestioning belief in God, and religious tenets does not require proof or evidence. The Hindu view of faith is somewhat different. It is more than hope, more than belief. This is because in Hinduism, faith is not a static state. Rather, it is constantly deepening through personal experience and personal growth. The spiritual truths of Sanatana Dharma, initially accepted without proof, are ultimately proved through personal experience. My guru presents this deeper idea of faith by citing an old saying favored by pragmatic intellectuals, seeing is believing. And then states that a more profound adage is, believing is seeing. Goes on to explain that today's scientists and educators often turn their perceptions off by seeing with their two eyes and passing judgments based on what they currently believe. The rishis of the past and the rishis of the now and those yet to come also are seers. Their seeing is not with the two eyes, it is with the third eye, the eye of the soul. He observed, the intellect in its capacity to contain truth is a very limited tool, while faith is a very broad, accommodating, and embracing faculty. The mystery of life and beyond life of God is really better understood through faith than through intellectual reasoning. In this regard, many of the great saints and sages of Hinduism have had visions of Lord Murugan and shared them with their devotees, thus strengthening the devotees' faith and understanding of these divine beings. In ancient times, such great saints as Arunagirinadar had visions of Lord Murugan and wrote of his experiences in his devotional poems, such as in Kandar Anubhuti. Swami Shivananda, Divine Life Society founder, wrote an excellent description of this work. The term Kandar Anubhuti is derived from Kandar and Anubhuti. Kandar in Tamil is Skanda. In Sanskrit, Anubhuti means becoming one with, or experience. Hence, Kandar Anubhuti means to become one with Skanda and denotes God experience. This is a work sung by Saint Arunagirinadar as a result of his God experience, or Kandar Anubhuti, which also directs others to that experience. It is the experience of the saint given expression to in such powerful words that when it is repeated by others, it is capable of bringing the same experience in them in due course. Such is the glory of the work. A sample verse reads in English, Lord Murugan, wielder of the veil, whose form shines like the crimson sky, on that day you revealed to me the unique divine experience. Having it and experiencing it is the only way to understand it. Is it something to talk about? How can it be told to someone else? In modern times, my guru has shared some of his mystical perspectives and experiences of Lord Murugan in his writings and stories. One story has to do with the founding of our Kadavul temple in Hawaii in 1973. A large Nataraja bronze had recently arrived from India, and Gurudeva was wondering where in the building to place it. That night, in a vision, Lord Murugan came and struck his veil 3 times on the spot where the Nataraja deity was to be placed. We placed the Nataraja there the next day, and worship began. For those who haven't seen our Kadavul temple, here's a photograph of the outside. This is a photograph of the Murugan Murti during Thaipusam 2019. Abhishekam is lengthy, and this photograph is of showing the flame after the pouring of yogurt. We have arranged for group pilgrimages to India and Sri Lanka since 1969. And some pilgrims on various programs had life-changing visions of Lord Murugan, as well as other deities. Such visions, born of the intensity of pilgrimage and inner striving, would often come in the form of the stone or bronze murti moving and smiling at them, or turning into an animated human-like figure. Some devotees with their eyes closed inwardly saw the deity's face as real as any living being. Though occasionally a devotee may have a vision of the deity, the more common way we experience him is as uplifting, peaceful, divine energy or Shakti that radiates out from the image. These blessings of the deity are called Sanidja and refer to the radiance and blessed presence of Shakti in and around the temple. In some of my Guru's writings, he also refers to these blessings as the darshan of the deity. It is easiest to feel these blessings at the high point of the puja when the flame is held high and the bells ring the loudest. This is because during the culminating arati, the deity and his helpers or devas reflect back the prana they have received through offerings into the aura of each devotee, purifying it of subconscious congestions. The devotee so blessed leaves feeling uplifted and relieved of mental burdens. Here is an analogy with experiencing the sun. If we go outside on a sunny day and close our eyes, we can feel the sun's rays on our skin without seeing the sun in the sky, and in that way, experience the sun. This is similar to what happens in the temple. Our inner or spiritual eye, the third eye, is not open, so we don't see the deity. However, we can feel in our nervous system the spiritual energy that radiates out from the murti, and in that way experience the deity. And in this way, Lord Murugan's blessings come into our life, we become a better person, more kind, disciplined, and spiritual. Nandri Vanakam.